Suppose the same cylinders are subjected to a much simpler testing which merely classifies them as defect or not defect. When the cylinder is beyond the acceptable limits, for example, it is too small or too big in diameter, we simply call it as a defect. We are not measuring to find out the exact diameter. So, this is an attribute measurement now. And let us also think about a sampling plan, which is as follows. We sample 100 pieces every 30 minutes for testing, and we collect 12 such samples and set up the control chart. So, let us see how to set up this chart called the P chart. Let us again go through the same 6-step process with which we will set up and plot the data and see. The step 1 is the measurement characteristic. It is the same as before, which is the diameter of a cylindrical component. Step 2 is the measurement method. Here we are merely classifying them as good or bad. That is why we call it as attribute based. It is no longer variable based. Because it is attribute based, we are selecting a control chart called P chart. That is step 3. And step 4 and step 5 are decide on a sampling plan. We already talked about it, 100 samples every time and 12 such samples. Let me just indicate it as 100, 12. This is the number of sample in each. This is the number of samples we have taken. Okay? And collect the data and establish the control limits. Let us look at step 6, which is plot the data and analyze in terms of whether the points are within control, is the process in control. So, we shall look at these steps 4, 5, 6 with the data that we have. So, here is the sampling plan. Sample every 30 minutes, each time take 100 consecutive samples, take 12 such samples in all. That is the sampling plan. And so, therefore, there are 12 samples drawn, each of size 100. These are the number of defects. This is what we have observed. So, this is the basic data with which we have to set up the parameters for the control chart. So, we start computing the percentage, we convert it into proportion of defects. So, 10 on 100 is 0.1, 13 on 100 is 0.13 and so on. So, we convert the number of defects into proportion of defects, and as before we also take an average of all these, which is 0.105 here. So, P is the proportion of defects in the sample and P bar is the mean of those proportions. So, our P bar in this example is 0.105. So, in our example our sample size is 100. We just now computed the P bar to be 0.105. Now, the parameters are set as follows. The mean of the control chart is nothing but P bar, so which happens to be 0.105. Then we compute the standard deviation by this formula. Standard deviation is P bar times 1 minus P bar by n and take a root of that. So, let us compute that. So, you need to take a root over P bar, which is 0.105 times 1 minus 0.105 over 100. Take a square root of all these, that number turns out to be 0.031. And now that we have the standard deviation, we can set up the control charts. So, let us operate this formula. P bar is 0.105 plus 3 times standard deviation is 0.031. So, that leaves us a value of 0.198, which happens to be the upper control limit, and the lower control limit is P bar, which is 0.105 minus 3 times again the standard deviation, which is 0.031, which leaves us a value of 0.012, which is the lower control limit. So, now that we have the upper control limit and lower control limit, we can plot the data as step 6. So, here is the plot. You see the center line here, which is 0.105. You have the upper control limit here and the lower control limit here. All the data points are inside. Therefore, we say that the process is in a state of statistical control. So far, we saw the P chart. There is another C chart which is also used in attribute based measures. The difference is as follows. P chart is about proportion of defects. Okay. In the case of a C chart, it is not proportion, but we merely count the number of defects. So, C denotes the counting of the number of defects. It is appropriate in certain situations. Assuming you have a nice painting, a 4 square meter painting, we would like to count the number of blemishes, small dots or minor scratches and so on per square meter of a smooth finished surface or a painting. That is one example where we may want C chart, or the number of thread run over in a square meter of a cloth. That could be another example. So, there are situations like this where it makes sense to count per say square meter or per length of something. Those are called, such situations warrant a C chart. The number of defects that we count in a particular sample is called C, as we just mentioned. As per our sampling plan, we would have taken the sample m times, let us say. So, the number of times sampling is done is m. With these two, you can compute the mean of C, which is called C bar, which is nothing but the summation of all C divided by m. Then one can calculate a standard deviation, which is the square root of C bar. So, now we have the mean and the standard deviation. Therefore, the upper control limit and lower control limit are plus or minus 3 standard deviations from the mean. So, this looks very similar to a P chart. Therefore, we are not going over it all over again. We need to plug in the appropriate numbers and get the control limits, then plot and see the data. So, that is how one uses a C chart. So far, we have seen the details pertaining to setting up a control chart for a chosen measure that we consider important in a process. So, with this understanding, we need to explore ways of putting the control chart to good use. Now that we know how to set up a control chart, the question is, how do we put it to use in business? What can we do with that? What are the operational issues? So, we shall see these details in the next set of videos.